Hello, Paulo Leite here, record collector. A couple of days ago I posted 3 videos about my visit to a record fair that took place here in Lisbon, Portugal. And although the record fair was dedicated mostly to vinyl, most of the vendors also brought in some CDs, which is great because that's what I buy these days. And I'm gonna put the link right here so you can check those videos. And I wanted to make this video to share with you the awesome shopping that I did on that day. So let's get to it. Starting with Machine Head 1972 by Deep Purple. This is the 25th anniversary edition that was released in 1997, and it contains 2 CDs here. The first one has the album remixed, and the second one contains the album remastered. And it's funny because both albums, both versions, sound completely different. And I'm not sure which one I like best. I think I'll have to listen to these more so I can find out which one I like best. But I like them very much. Some people are very weary about remixes and remasters. I don't have a problem with remasters. I know that on the digital age, sometimes a remaster is needed, but I won't get into that. But this is a beautiful album. I listened to it when I was a teenager. My cousins had this album on vinyl, and I fell in love with it right then. And somehow I never got to buy it. And I found this one at the record fair at a very nice price. I don't remember how much I paid. I think I paid 8 or 10 euros for it. I think it's a fair price. Beautiful, beautiful songs here. It contains a B-side, When a Blind Man Cries, which is a great song. I never heard it before. And yeah, there are also 2 songs here that have the quadraphonic mix. Of course, CDs cannot do quadraphonic sound. They're on stereo. Later, they released, I think, the 50th anniversary edition that came out last year in 2024. Had a Blu-ray disc with the full quadraphonic version. I'll have to check that one, and eventually I'm going to buy that big version so I can listen to it as it was intended. Now this edition is funny because you have this hard cardboard slipcase, and inside of it you have another slipcase, and then inside of it you have the CD. So it is a CD inside the slipcase. Weird. And actually there was a funny story. I think they were supposed to record this album on a casino in Montreux, Switzerland, and the whole place burned down. I think before or after Frank Zappa was there with a concert. Someone, I think, lit a flare, and the whole place burned down. And that was the inspiration behind Smoke in the Water, which is a great thing to know. So great buy. Next, Power, Corruption and Lies, 1983 by New Order. I remember buying this album when I was a teenager back in those days. Everybody had this album on vinyl. All the kids had this. I mean, I wasn't an exception. And this is a beautiful cover, a beautiful artwork that I remember back then left me very impressed. This is a painting by Henri Fantin-Latour. I think the original is at the National Gallery in London. I'm not sure. And it's a beautiful album that comes straight from the 80s. I think it's their second album under New Order. I won't go into the Joy Division. This is the collector's edition that was released in 2008. I like very much these editions because they also have a second album with lots of stuff. And this isn't as good as the others. I think all of the material that comes on disc 2 I have on other albums by New Order. But still, this one was missing in my collection, and I like it very much, so it was a great buy. And the price was good. I think I paid 8 or 10 euros for it, so I'm very happy. I saw this on other record shops here in Europe, and they were always more expensive, so I was happy to find it. So great buy. Next, here's something I'm sure you're not expecting. Alien, the soundtrack. This is the 1979 classic by Ridley Scott. And for years I was looking for this edition, and I could find it online for a much higher price. And it's funny that on the video that I posted, I don't show this album because it was the first album that I bought, I was going rapidly through all the vendors to see if there was something that I must have, and this was the first one that I got. So when I made the video, when I came back to that vendor to shoot the videos, this one was already in my backpack. I already had bought it. So I'm very happy with this album. This was produced by Jerry Goldsmith himself with the National Philharmonic Orchestra. And I'm not sure when it was. I think it was recorded in London, I think at the Anvil Studios, but I'm not sure. It's a great album. This is one of those soundtracks where you can immediately remember the scenes from the movie and get that ambience from the film. And yeah, it's a great buy. I love it. Next, Eye in the Sky, 1982 by the Alan Parsons Project. I love this album, and it's another gap that I had in my collection until now. And this album contains lots of gems. I don't think this album has fillers. I think from beginning to end, all the songs are great. And for years I wanted this album, and I couldn't find it for a good price. And I found it for €5, so I think it was a good price. This is their 6th album, and several beautiful songs like Sirius, Eye in the Sky, with vocals by Eric Wolfson, beautiful vocal work, and also Mama Gama, which is a song that everybody who is my age has seen it, has heard it. If anybody in the 80s or the 90s, when there was a TV show about science or the future or technology, that song would be there somehow. And it's a very well-known song, and it's on this album. And this is a great buy, and I'm very happy. Next, a beautiful album, Extensions of a Man, 1973 by Donny Hathaway. I was late rediscovering Donny Hathaway until I never heard anything from him, I think, or not consciously, until I think 15 years ago when someone showed him to me, and I was flabbergasted. He was an incredible artist and a beautiful voice. And every album of him from him is a work of art, an absolute work of art. And this was produced by Arif Mardin, a Turkish-American producer. And it's absolutely beautiful in every way. Also, another of these albums that don't have fillers. So every song is a beautiful work of art. And this was, I think, his 4th studio album and his last one. He died in 1978, I believe. He jumped from a hotel window, which was very sad. I mean, the world lost an incredible artist. And he has here the most exquisite collection of songs. Someday We'll All Be Free is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. And Billy Preston also plays on this album on a song called Lord Help Me, which was a B-side that is included here as a bonus track. Also, Cissy Houston sings here, and this album contains an amazing number of great musicians. So it is a beautiful album, and I'm very happy I found it for very little money. I paid €7.50. To me, it's a bargain. So this is an album that deserves to be rediscovered. Great buy. Next, I have for you another beautiful album, Young, Gifted and Black, 1972 by Aretha Franklin. This contains several connections with the previous album. First, Arif Mardin also produced this one. He was the producer of Donny Hathaway's album, and along here with Jerry Wexler. And also, Donny Hathaway plays here the Hammond organ, with also Billy Preston, who also plays here the Hammond organ, on different songs, of course. But this has also the Sweet Inspirations, the backup singing group founded by Cissy Houston. And also, Aretha's sisters, Irma and Caroline, also sing here. So this is a gorgeous album with also beautiful songs, including the classic Rocksteady. But there are so many great songs here. I think this is a beautiful album that everybody should know. Next, I have for you City to City by Gary Rafferty. This is from 1978. This is his 2nd solo album. And it's funny that for years he was unable to release a solo album due to his commitments with the Steelers Wheel, his previous band. And there were contractual obligations, and he was forbidden to release anything. And it's funny that I think this is an album that's very similar in a way with All Things Must Pass by George Harrison, because here you have an artist with this incredible creativity, with this incredible number of great songs and great stuff that he couldn't publish or couldn't release before. And then this album comes, and there you have, there is this huge flow of creativity, this huge flow of beautiful songs that this album contains. Another album that I don't think has fillers. So every song here, somehow it's a triumph. And I'm very happy. I knew this album for years. And I have found this album many times on record shops for very little money. But for some reason, the CD was all scratched and in a bad shape, and I could never buy it. So I found it for €5, and I'm very happy. So it's a great buy. Oh, one more thing. This album was the one that took Saturday Night Fever off the #1 position of the charts. So there you go. Next, I have for you another classic. Harvest, 1972, by Neil Young. This is one of the most famous albums from the 70s, and it is another masterpiece. This is his 4th album, I think, and it was produced by Elliot Mazer, Henry Lewy, and Jack Nietzsche. 3 amazing producers that produce different songs in the album, and each one with an incredible career of producing great artists. And yeah, this is a beautiful album. I knew this album before, of course. I heard it many times. But again, I never found it in a good shape. Most of the times that I found this album for sale on record shops used, I found it in very bad shape. And it's easy to understand why. This is such a great album. People will play and play and play and leave it on cars, etc. And then it will be beaten down. But this one is a pristine edition, so I'm very happy. Next. Stronger Than Pride, 1988 by Sade. I remember like it was yesterday, going into a local record shop back in 1988, early 1989, and seeing this for sale, and then pesting my mother for a week so she would buy it for me. An absolute classic from the era. Sade is one of those bands that I don't think they have a bad album, and their sound is so distinct. You know it a mile away. It's her singing, and what a singing, what a voice. So this is an absolute classic, a absolute gem, and I'm very happy I finally got it. Next, Every Picture Tells a Story, 1971 by Rod Stewart. Now it's funny that a few videos ago on the Wook Street Records video, I'll put the link here so you can check it. I was complaining that I was buying a compilation of Rod Stewart's older songs because I couldn't find his early stuff. And oddly enough, here it is. This is, I think, his 3rd album, and it contains beautiful songs. The members of his previous band, Faces, they also play here. And I found on this album, I didn't know, but I found on this album a gorgeous version of a 1966 song by The Temptations, I Know I'm Losing You. It's a beautiful Temptations song, and Rod Stewart covers it also beautifully. Maggie May, a beautiful song, was actually a B-side on the Reason to Believe, which was the A-side. A gorgeous album, and I'm very happy with it, so it's a great buy. Next, something I wasn't expecting to find. Candido, 1956. This was his 1st album, and well, not exactly his 1st album. He released an album before this one, but this is the 1st one with him as the main artist. And it's a gorgeous 1956 album with beautiful songs, Ponciana, Stomping at the Savoy, and the classic Cheek to Cheek, the classic Irving Berlin song. Also, I think Perdido, the Juan Tizol song, they're all here. And for those who don't know, Candido is a brilliant percussionist, and he recorded tons of stuff. During the 70s, he recorded for South Soul Records a number of disco or dance disco oriented albums, and they are awesome. So I'm very happy with this. I paid €2 for this. It was really cheap, and it was also an album that I bought at the very beginning of the fair. When I saw this for €2 in a basket of trash, I said to myself, oh my god, I have to get this. And it's still sealed. I haven't opened yet. I'm going to listen to it tonight, and I'm going to spend at least an hour with this one. It's funny that in English, in America, everybody calls him Candido. In Portuguese would be Candido. But regardless, he is great. Next, this one I got for just €1. It's called Songwriting Legends, Burt Bacharach. It's from a series that also has, I think, I only know one more album from this series, which is dedicated to Paul McCartney and John Lennon. This was released by some sub-label inside Decca, because most of the artists here are from Decca. And also you can see here the spine, the Decca colors that give it away. This is a easy listening compilation from several bands from the 60s, I would say, early 70s. Frank Shaxfield and his orchestra, Ronnie Aldrich and his two pianos, which I like very much. I have several albums from Ronnie Aldrich. The English Strings, which was an ensemble that I don't think they were. I think they were very short-lived. I'm not sure. I have a few things of them from them in compilations. I'm not sure if there's a lot of them on CD form. Shake Keen, which I heard only a few things. Raymond's Magic Organ, which I heard a few things also, but these are very hard to find acts. Well, most of them are also, one more, Tony Osborne's Three Brass Buttons, which is a brass orchestra. These are mostly easy listening and orchestral music from the 60s and early 70s. Most of these have completely fallen into oblivion, and you won't find them available on CD in most of the cases. And whenever you find a vinyl, they're all beaten down at the dustbin, at the trash bin, which means sometimes you can find good stuff there if you like it. I like this kind of music very much. I'm a huge easy listening fan. And when I saw this, I had to buy it. I had to try it. And it's a gorgeous album with beautiful songs by Burt Bacharach. So it's a great buy. And I spent some time listening to it, and it's gorgeous. And the recordings are in beautiful shape. They sound great, so I'm very happy. I'm also going to have to find the Lennon-McCartney album, because I'm sure there are great recordings there. And I'm going to try to investigate if there are more songwriters on this series. I think 2 albums is very little. I'm sure there's more. So this is a great buy. Last but not least, Harp Concertos, 1996 by Roberta Alessandrini with the Orchestra di Mantova. So this is a gorgeous album. I love concertos. I love trombone concertos, harp concertos. I have several albums of classical music and concertos. And this is a beautiful one. I didn't know these composers, and I didn't know many of these compositions. I only knew briefly one of these. This is mostly Baroque music, and one of them a late Baroque. And it's absolutely beautiful, beautifully recorded, beautifully played. This is a Naxos release. I like Naxos CDs very much, so this is a great buy, and for €1, who could say no? And here we go. Machine Head, 1972 by Deep Purple. Power, Corruption and Lies, 1983 by New Order. Alien, released in 1988 by Jerry Goldsmith. Eye in the Sky, 1982 by the Alan Parsons Project. Extensions of a Man, 1973 by Donny Hathaway. Young, Gifted and Black, 1972 by Aretha Franklin. City to City, 1978 by Gary Rafferty. Harvest, 1972 by Neil Young. Stronger Than Pride, 1988 by Sade. Every Picture Tells a Story, 1971 by Rod Stewart. Candido, 1976 by Candido. Songwriting Legends, Burt Bacharach, various artists. Harp Concertos, 1996 by Roberta Alessandrini. I had a great day at the record fair, and please remember, visit record shops, buy records. Music is life. Thank you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. There's more great content coming soon. Thank you.